Well, what's going on with the dudes, man? What do you got for us, Luke? What are you talking about? Guys being sterilized or what?
Well, there's a huge decline in sperm, in reproductive rates, in IQ, in people's health. There's a huge increase of people being fat. There's a huge increase of people not being healthy. There's a huge increase of respiratory diseases and heart ailments that have been dramatically increasing all over the world. And it's fair to say that there has been something happening that has utterly devastated and destroyed the modern man. And whether you look at, and family-friendly show here, but specifically if you look at, reproductive organs, they've been shrinking. I don't know if I could say the thing I want to say, the size between the two private parts is also shrinking, which what? Yes. There's a lot of things chemically happening right now. A lot of people are blaming plastics for it, as plastics have been found in people's bloodstreams. There's a chemical warfare happening right now that is affecting not just the human body, but the human mind. And I think this is why a lot of people have been going crazy. This is why I think there's more homelessness. There's a bigger homelessness problem out there than there was before, which is usually linked to a mental health crisis. I think right now we are going through some kind of medical intervention that is not natural, that is destroying human life on this planet.
But Luke, a great man once said, "There are too many people on this planet."
Oh my gosh.
And that was Bill Gates, by the way. And don't you think he's right? There are too many people, Luke?
Absolutely not. I think what Elon Musk has been talking about, the opposite problem occurring, especially in a few decades from now, is the real problem, because it's actually backed by science. It's actually backed by data that is not paid and bought for by Bill Gates. And it's highlighting a huge crisis of civilization that's going to be hitting our way, especially in the Western world, where people aren't making children. One, because people can't. Sometimes because people don't want to, because they've been brainwashed and propagandized not to. To me, in my personal opinion, we are going through a population reduction program. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people are not aware of it. A lot of people are just living their lives, trusting the authorities, and they're being chemically attacked and castrated in a way that's going to stop them from reproducing.
But you think it's on purpose?
Absolutely. I think there's two motives here. One is profit and incentive, and I think the other one is deliberate, and I think both are playing a part here. I think there's a few people that are saying too many people in this world, we have to intervene, we have to incentivize the use of GMOs, we have to incentivize the use of glyphosate, we have to incentivize the use of high fructose corn syrup. Yeah,
real quick, there are people like Bill Gates who have publicly stated there are too many people and we have to take action.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now beyond that,
there's corporations that are incentivized to do this, because then big industries like corn, high fructose corn syrup, and glyphosate are subsidized and of course given to these corporations for very cheap. They of course give it out to the general public, and whether it's seed oils, high sugar, or just the chemicals that are banned in so many other countries, we give it to our children. The diet that our children are given is absolutely horrendous. It's leading to brain defects, and it's leading towards a destroyed civilization that of course won't be able to get up from its feet, because it's being bombarded with poisons.
Yeah. I will add this though, but because I agree 100% with what you're saying, that it is derivative of of something chemical, but I would also add that it's something derivative of propaganda, which is another word that you use. We were talking before the show. You use the word choice. You know what I'm saying? And people think that
people choosing to eat bad food.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, yeah, it is something to do with choice, but that choice is part and parcel of propaganda. People are kind of reacting to a certain pattern of stimuli that's propagandized to them by certain movements and certain things that happen in a very pervasive and inundative way. Yes. Second wave feminism had a very negative effect on how we move as a society. Going into the 21st century.
But there's two other layers here that I think are important to understand beyond just propaganda. One is that the food is engineered to be chemically addictive. Mm-hmm. So when you have it, it literally is engineered to hit the pleasure centers in your mind, so you become addicted to the sugar, to the seed oils. Another aspect to really understand here is that it's also cheap and readily available, because it's subsidized by big industries that have bought off politicians that are going along with this agenda and don't even know that they're doing it.
Yeah, so we as people are being led in the way that that they think we should go.
Exactly.
You know what I've been hearing a lot? We've been talking about this quite a bit over here. There are a bunch of people we know who came from other countries or visited other countries, when they came to America, they gained weight.
Yeah.
And they all said the same thing. Like, there's like 4 or 5 people we have anecdotally who've been like, I eat the exact same food and dinner, the same schedule I've always done. But when I came to America, I started gaining a bunch of weight. And then I'm like, nah, like, I don't believe. Maybe it's like you think you're eating the same amount. Like, you would order rice and beans and chicken, then you come to America, but the plate's 10 times bigger. Maybe that's what's happening. But they insist. They're like, that's not true. Like, I will make the food myself. It's the same food. And then we had a couple people that moved back, like friends of ours, and then the weight was gone. So I'm wondering, Ian often thinks it's the bromine. I don't know about brominated wheat flour and stuff like that. I don't know about that. I don't know what specific chemical or whatever there is they're putting stuff or something like that. But something in our food, maybe. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a number of things, and it's very hard to put your kind of finger on it directly, because we're dealing with so much bureaucracy. We're dealing with so much corruption. The FDA has approved so many different chemicals that are banned, that you cannot give to people in many different countries. But here in the United States, it's okay. But there's a rushed experimental therapy. We're going to rush that through. That's perfectly safe and fine, which is absolutely crazy and bewildering. And there's so many different aspects and so many different layers we could get into this, but there's a lot of other speakers and scientists that I think we should maybe try to have on the show. Carnivore MD, he's also a really good, smart medical doctor that presents a lot of this information and data a lot better than I do. But I've just been awakened to this because, after I quit smoking cigarettes, I started to see really bad health effects after giving up something that, was really bad for me. I was like, what's really going on here? And it really put me down a path where I had to research this. And once you start researching it, you go down a rabbit hole of, holy cow. You go down the supermarket aisle and you're loudly saying, everything's here's poison. Everything here is trying to kill me or hurt me in some kind of way. And I make a point to say that loudly every time I'm in the supermarket, just so people hear me.
The FDA is yet another, because you mentioned the World, Economic Forum, so on and so forth. I would include in and amongst that the FDA. So.
Yes, absolutely. Corrupted organization hijacked by multinational corporations that are not looking out for your best interest. They are literally poisoning you with so many chemicals that yet again, illegal in so many places, legal here.
I think it was yesterday. We went down to the Blue Ridge Rock Fest. It was really, really awesome. And driving around Danville, Virginia, I saw an OG Pizza Hut. Original Pizza Hut building. It's like, man, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Jack Posobiec talks about them. Yeah, with the weird little red roof and everything like that. We were thinking about going there. We ultimately didn't go there. And I was reminded of that story Jack Posobiec tells where he went to a Pizza Hut bringing his kids because he wanted them to have the experience he had when he was a kid, and then realizing like what he had is gone and it was disgusting and falling apart. And now Pizza Hut tends to be just like a strip mall store with a delivery only. But I bring this up because, I remember we had Papa John on the show.
Yeah.
And, he likes to say better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Well, he's not there anymore. They went woke and got broke and then kicked him out. But he talks about how, they actually use better ingredients. So I looked it up. Sure enough, Papa John's ingredients are like basic. The dough is like flour, water, yeast. Yeah. And I was like, wow. And the cheese is like skim milk. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And the sauce is like Roma tomatoes or whatever and sugar. And then I was like, okay, well, that's really impressive. And then I look up Pizza Hut. I think Pizza Hut puts Splenda in their crust.
Gross.
They sweeten their crust with artificial sweetener. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I looked it up, but that was like, wow, they really do want everything to be sweeter, and that's gross. And then Domino's, I think they're not, they don't put like sweetener like that in there, but their ingredients is like a whole bunch of weird chemicals that you don't understand. And it's crazy when you realize most of the big fast food chains, except for Papa John's, it's weird chemicals you're eating. You can't produce. You can't pronounce. Yet you don't care that you're eating it. That to me is just weird.
Yeah, and your body can't break it down, so your body is in a constant state of inflammation that it can't deal with. And when it's inflamed, it has a hard time processing and working well. And if your gut's not working well, your brain is not working well, since your brain is dependent on the chemicals produced in your gut. And I think a lot of this is deliberate, because if you could destroy someone's health, if you could destroy someone's sanity and mental clarity, you could more easily enslave them. Because if you have them in a pathetic fat state, you have them in a state where they don't respect themselves. And if you don't respect yourself, you're not going to stand up for yourself, and therefore you're a lot easier to squash, you're a lot easier to control, you're a lot easier to manipulate. And I think there's a big agenda happening, and this is my own personal opinion, that this is all engineered and planted and created in a way specifically to hurt us in the worst possible way.
I think Luke is right about, when people are fat and slow and tired, they're easier to control. And that's why I gave Luke a box of cookies today.
You did. 2 of them.
You gave
2
me a
boxes
box
of cookies. I looked at that. I'm like, you're trying to get me fat. The second I saw that.
We have these special cookies that
Very fancy.
they're fudge dipped birthday cake Oreos.
One's
with
enough.
Sprinkles, and it says "Step on Snack and find out" on them.
They look incredible. They look
They're so good.
amazingly they just look so good. I haven't had one.
It's a drug. It really is. 'Cause
Yeah.
you eat one, and then you want to eat more. But one cookie is 130 calories.
Wow.
One cookie, and they're little Oreos. That's food, I guess. Man, I gotta tell you, when the apocalypse happens, survivalists are gonna be like, yes, like this
One
will
a
last
day.
months.
One a day.
One a day. You probably eat a couple of them, and then you gotta work.
Quick energy, yeah.
Yeah, quick energy, I guess, until you crash and burn. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.